Ever buy something online, like maybe a designer bag or a watch, and when it arrives, you're like, wait a minute, is this thing for real?
Happens all the time, yeah.
Yeah. But what if there was a way to be absolutely sure you're getting the real deal? Like, what if, I don't know, your purchases could tell you their whole story, where they came from, how they were made, the whole 9 yards.
And that's what we're diving into today, right?
Exactly. This
Yeah.
company, Rainfall, they're all about changing the game for how we buy, sell, you name it, and it all comes down to knowing exactly what you're getting.
And knowing it's legit, which, let's be honest, is huge these days.
Huge. So we're talking next level tech here. NFC chips, QR codes, blockchain, all that good stuff. Rainfall uses it to create what they call a digital twin for every product.
Like a digital fingerprint, each one unique.
Yeah, exactly. But instead of just for like ID, it unlocks a product's entire history. You can track it every step of the way, which is pretty cool, but also means no more fakes.
And the problem of counterfeiting, it's way bigger than people realize.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just luxury brands either. We're talking about everything.
It's true. You think about it, even something like, oh, I don't know, a phone charger.
Exactly. And a bad one of those, that's not just about the brand. That's a safety hazard.
Totally.
Yeah.
So with Rainfall, we're not just talking about a cool tech gimmick. It's a solution with real impact.
Right. For everyone, from the companies to us, the shoppers.
Exactly. So how does it actually work? You've got this digital twin. What does that even mean?
So each product, it gets this unique digital ID, right? And that ID is tied to its twin on the blockchain.
Yeah.
That's where all the info lives, how it was made, where it's been, all of it completely secure.
Okay, so every item gets its own, like, super secure online profile. No two are the same.
And can't be faked.
Right, because of the blockchain. But here's what I find really interesting about it. Rainfall doesn't just stop there. Brands can use these digital twins to tell their story in a whole new way.
It's like giving a product a voice.
Yeah. It's
Right.
wild, right? Like you scan a tag and suddenly you're so much more connected to like the people behind the product.
Totally. And you mentioned something earlier about how this goes way beyond just fashion, and it really does.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Think about it like fine art. Huge problem with fakes, right? Makes it tough to know if you've got the real deal.
You'd have no idea.
But imagine, with a digital twin, you could track that painting's whole journey,
Yeah.
from the artist's studio through every owner, all the way to, well, you.
That would be huge for collectors, museums, everyone.
Exactly. No more wondering if it's real or a really good fake.
Just instant verification. That'd change everything.
Transparency is key, and not just for fancy stuff either. Think about groceries even.
Okay. Yeah.
Scan your coffee beans and boom, where those beans were grown, what kind of farm, maybe even like a picture of the farmer who grew them.
You're right. I hadn't thought about it like that, but it would totally change how we shop for food. You could make such more informed choices. Like, is this really fair trade?
Exactly. And it's not just where it's from, it's the story behind it,
Right. Like, that's got to be a big part of it.
Take a nice bottle of wine, for example.
Okay. I like where you're going with this.
You scan the label, you know exactly which vineyard, what year, even get tasting notes from the winemaker, maybe.
That's so cool. It becomes an experience, not just a bottle of wine.
And speaking of experiences, gifts. Imagine giving that wine with a personalized message in the digital twin, or a photo even.
Oh, that's next level. You're giving a little piece of the story along with it.
See? That's what I'm talking about. Rainfall gets it. It's not just about proving it's real. It's about, like, adding meaning to the things we buy. And speaking of which, have you heard about what they're doing with bourbon?
Wait, really? Traceable bourbon. Now you've got my attention.
So, say you get a special bottle for celebration or as a gift, right?
Mhm.
Scan it, and you can unlock, like, the whole history of that bottle, where it was distilled, how it got to you, what it should taste like.
Wow, I don't even know. That's amazing. It's like the ultimate expression of what we've been talking about. All this transparency, the storytelling. It's like people care about that stuff more and more these days.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, younger generations. They want to know where their stuff comes from, what the company stands for, the whole picture.
It's like we're moving beyond just, getting a product and into understanding its story, the values it represents.
Exactly. And for businesses, this shift in consumer values, it's a challenge, but also a huge opportunity.
Right.
Rainfall's technology allows brands to respond to all of this by being more transparent and authentic than they could before.
So it's not just about like looking good, it's about doing good and being able to prove it. But let's break down the practical stuff for businesses. What are some of the key advantages they're seeing by using this tech?
Well, on the surface, there's the obvious thing, fighting counterfeiting. It's a massive problem, as we talked about, for businesses across the board.
Yeah.
With Rainfall, brands can protect their revenue, make sure customers are getting the real deal, and protect their brand reputation.
That's a big one. But it sounds like the benefits go way beyond just preventing losses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things about Rainfall's platform is the data it provides.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
tracking products throughout their entire life cycle, from the factory to the store to, well, brands get a ton of insight into their supply chains.
So it's like having a real-time dashboard for their whole operation. They can see bottlenecks, inefficiencies, stuff they can improve.
Exactly. With that level of transparency and data, businesses can make better decisions, optimize their processes, be more agile, respond to changes in the market.
And as we've talked about, that level of transparency isn't just good for business, it's what consumers want, especially when it comes to things like sustainability and ethical sourcing.
Absolutely. When you can show consumers the journey of a product all the way from the beginning to their hands, it builds trust and loyalty. It shows they're doing things the right way, and it lets consumers align their purchases with their values.
Like we were saying, it's more than just the product itself. It's the story, the values, the connection we feel. Rainfall has created a way to make those things tangible and verifiable.
Exactly. They're bridging the gap between brands and consumers by fostering a new level of transparency and understanding.
This has been a really interesting deep dive. We went from fake bags to the future of ethical sourcing, and it all points to the transformative power of technology when it's used to create more meaningful and transparent experiences.
Totally.
And as this technology becomes more common, it makes you wonder, how will it reshape our relationship with the things we buy?
The big question.
Will it lead to a more conscious, connected way of consuming where every purchase tells a story?
It's a possibility.
I'm going to keep thinking about it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Rainfall. We'll catch you next time for another exploration into the ideas shaping our future.